What's going on, guys? Snake Eyes here, bringing you 5 tips for the Phantom Pain. Keep in mind that these tips are going to be aimed more towards beginner players, so if you are not a beginning player, then you're probably not going to learn anything new. But if you want to stick around and maybe help these guys out with me, then feel free to do so. But for the most part, we're going to go ahead and get started, and the first thing that you need to do is watch what you take. Everything you take with you on missions costs at least some GMP, with the exception being some of the beginning gear, and that amount only increases as you progress through the game and also as you unlock higher versions of those items. Watch what you take, because what seems like a small amount at first can add up to a lot eventually. Also, know your distances. In a game like the Phantom Pain, distance is everything, not just for you, but for your enemy as well. And it's extremely important to know the distances in which you can do certain things, because if you don't, then it's going to make the game that much harder. I'm going to go more in depth with distances at a later date, but a little kickstart that I can help you out with is 13 meters is the max range where you can use the knock and get a guard's attention. 2 meters is the max range for CQC and the hold up. And if you're trying to sneak around an enemy, you can go full speed crouch walk up until about 5 meters, and after that you're going to have to slow it down a little bit. And of course, all of this does change depending on the time of day and also the weather, even things like the enemy being inside buildings. But it's extremely important to get a firm grasp on the fundamentals of the distances and just use things like the time of day and weather to adjust accordingly. Double tapping a direction on the D-pad quickly cycles to your next weapon, and this is extremely useful if you're going to double tap up or down, because it switches from your first primary or secondary to your second primary or secondary. This isn't that useful for left and right, only because if you have a lot of weapons, it's actually going to take a long time to cycle through it, but this is perfect for switching to your second primary or secondary quickly without having to open the menu. Also, as a side note, pressing square while ADS switches to either your primary or secondary weapon depending on which weapon you currently have selected. This is great for switching on the fly and is perfect for reflex mode when and if it gets triggered. If you find yourself on fire with no water in sight, you can perform quick dives or hide in a cardboard box to quickly extinguish those flames. And lastly, if you get on top of a shipping container and fulton it out, if you stay holding the triangle or Y button while on top of that shipping container, it can send you back to the ACC. So this is pretty much going to wrap up my quick tips video. I will be posting more as soon as I learn them, and if you have any tips of your own, whether they be beginners, intermediate, or advanced, feel free to list them down in the comments below. But for the most part, that's pretty much going to wrap up this video, so leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't already, and until next time, take care.